One of the biggest tips for saving money on your travel is plan it.
Yeah.
Just have a plan for it.
Just
Like
think about it.
an itinerary of what you're kind of going to do, a budget mindset, and then you start saving up. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to YBI. When we talk financial ways and strategy to grow yourself and your finances, is Roman and Zion back with a very delicious and tasty episode for you. Oh, relaxing, breezy,
It's more relaxing.
chilling, more relaxing and chill, and resetting of the vibe and the way that you might have to set in your lives and your atmosphere. Is YBI, Young Broken Investor. Let's get it. Zion, what we got going on for the people?
Man, today is a very, very special day. I have literally just gotten off of a plane and I am back in Chicago land. While I was gone, of course, I was still working. I was thinking, you know what? Now is the summertime. It's very, very important. There's going to be so many people that are traveling. Let's talk about how we can help people take trips for real cheap or for a lot cheaper than we're thinking. So we're going to go through
some ways and tips and strategies about how to stay relaxing without having your pockets be stressing.
Exactly. Because my pockets were not happy, or they wouldn't have been happy had I just gone with my first move on a lot of the different things I wanted to do. So I went to San Diego. I was in San Diego for 6 days, something like that. It was a decent little trip. I finally went and had some time. Okay, cool. Here we go. So let's just get right into it. Can you see? What can you see? My whole screen?
Yeah, I see the whole. You dig? I see the whole folder.
No, we're not doing that. Okay, cool.
Luckily, it's the good folder.
Yeah, this is the good folder. I went to San Diego. And, obviously, when you're going to different places, there are a lot of different things that come up. We're talking flights, we're talking places to stay, we're talking food, we're talking vehicle rental, we're talking a lot of different things. So what I wanted to do is share some of my adventure. Roman's going on a trip himself in a little while here. And we're figuring how I save so much money on this trip.
And then I'm going to go through some of the things I'm doing now as I'm still planning my end of year summer trips and some things I found.
Exactly. So these are going to be trips that you guys can use, tips that you guys can use for your trips throughout the year. So let's hop right in here. One of the main things that I did was I did not get a traditional hotel. I got an Airbnb instead. And as you can see, it's beautiful. Let's turn all of that down. Beautiful, beautiful place. And it was a decision because you said what?
It's got a kitchenette right there when you enter.
Yes, bro. Kitchenette, all of that. It was phenomenal, right? Having access to a kitchen made it that much better for us because my initial thing was, hey, I want to be able to cook if I need to. And that is probably my second tip is being able to cook. I mean, we made a little avocado toast, we just made breakfast and we went shopping. That was the first thing that we did when we got there. We looked around, we saw, what was in the refrigerator, what we needed to get, and we made a shopping list and went shopping. And this is where we save so much money. For one, having to go to breakfast every morning. And for two, look at the view that we paid for. Like I wanted to sit and spend as much time with this view that I paid for than anything else. It was phenomenal for one, but for two, it was like the hotel that I had originally booked was like, let's say $1,100. It was probably a little bit more. It was $1,100 for the same amount of time without a kitchenette and without paying for parking, and Wi-Fi wasn't free. So when I paid a little bit more for an Airbnb that had a full kitchenette, it had a refrigerator, it had a toaster oven, it had a microwave, it had dishes, it had all of this stuff that I would need to cook. Two, came with free Wi-Fi. Three, had a jacuzzi and a pool that were both private. So now now it's not that I'm sharing with, the entire hotel, but I have all of the amenities for myself. So for me, it just made a lot more sense for me to just go ahead and spend a little bit more, but get exactly what I wanted to in terms of the amenities, in terms of the quality of the person I was going to be with. All of the things. Our Airbnb host was phenomenal. Make sure that you check out the reviews for your Airbnb host before you just go anywhere, especially if you don't know the area. That's definitely a thing to
Know
look
who you
at.
staying with.
No, yeah, definitely take a look into all that, because that's a thing. It's a thing. Okay, so what we've talked about so far, Airbnb. It is a thing. I had never done it before. This was my first time doing it. It was phenomenal. My host was amazing. Everything was great. Take into account that there's going to be additional fees and things for hotels. Some places have resort fees.
Yes.
So resort fees are trash. It's just literally a fee that you can't get away from. So I went the Airbnb route, which cost me a little bit more, in quote, but I saved money on having to go to breakfast every day. I saved money on, snacking and having food in my room, having
a private area that you don't have to worry about sharing a lot of things with everybody. Like even that right there, especially in this time of still in pandemic ways. I don't think they're slowly opening back up, but just having that privacy is probably a big help.
Yes, it was phenomenal. Having the private jacuzzi, having all those things, having free Wi-Fi, all of those things were way better than staying at a traditional hotel for me. So then I was like, how else can I save money? So that's when we got into this great stuff right here. I went on a hike. I literally is like, what is in the area? And this is another good thing about having an Airbnb host, was that I was like, I can just ask her. Let's see. Can you see this?
Yep.
Yeah. So there we are, at the Pacific Ocean, blah, blah, blah. These are the views that we got on a hike. This was free. This is free nature, people. This was exactly what I went to San Diego for. I wanted to see this. I wanted to experience the relaxation that I possibly could, as much relaxation as I possibly could. And I didn't want to break the bank while doing it. This was one of the best ways to do that. Was one, we've talked about money in relationships. If you haven't checked that out, go back. It's one of the first videos that we did. It's pretty fire.
We should do a re-up on that, actually.
We might need to do a re-up, because people in relationships don't understand. Get with somebody that's not going to trip because you didn't spend every day on Rodeo Drive. Like, we went to Rodeo. I went to Rodeo, but it wasn't like, man, I need to stay on Rodeo. Nah, Rodeo was fine.
You get to view, see some nice cars. If you want to, maybe buy an item, but I would not just blow up your entire vacation budget on just spending money.
On doing stuff like that. Speaking of Rodeo Drive and the nice cars, bang.
Yeah,
yellow Rolls Royce. I mean, it was cool.
You go to Rodeo to see the nice cars and you take some pictures, but spending money there don't make no sense. It don't. At least once you get to that point in life, where you can buy money like that, it don't matter.
If you balling out, make you move.
You probably would not be watching the channel.
They should be. Everybody needs money.
What's that water?
So one of the bigger things that we did was we took the scenic route everywhere that we went. So I was staying in San Diego, and this kind of segues into my next topic of discussion, really, is having your things that you're going to do, the bigger things. So if you're like, you know what, I want to do something that's bigger, go for it, do it, but just don't make that like an everyday thing. I did all of the very little stuff, the free stuff. I did all of that. And then I had a big thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to go and watch the Clippers. I wanted to go to a playoff game. So I went to an NBA playoff game, which was not cheap. It wasn't cheap by any stretch, but it wasn't that I was staying in LA.
Fees.
I wasn't staying in LA, and the tickets were not as bad as you think. When I was thinking, oh yeah, these tickets are going to be $800 a piece, there were literally seats in the building for $82 a piece. So You could still do this on a budget. I particularly did not get those seats. I wanted to be a little bit closer. It was an NBA playoff game. I felt a little bit excited. I went the VIP route. Yes, I did. Shut up. I don't care. I was on vacation.
No,
it was a great time.
You broke the YBI code. I'm just playing.
Hey, you spend money, it wasn't that I was going broke. It wasn't my last dollar, nothing like that. It was like, hey, I planned for this trip so long ago.
But you sold all your crypto.
I sold my crypto for a different reason. That's an M1, and we're going to talk about that in a later episode. But yeah, I spent my money where I was like, you know what, we're gonna make a day of this. So I knew that going to LA was going to be a day. So I was like, let's take the scenic route for one. And that took up some time because a lot of the things that happen are people go on vacation and they get bored. So they start spending money because they're bored. So I was like, let's not do that. And let's take the scenic route. So instead of taking an hour to get to LA, I took 2.5 hours taking the ride right along the coast. It was really, really nice. I was like, we're not wasting money. It was great. I thought that was a lot, more fiscally responsible than everything else. And on the way, what did I stop and do? I stopped here at a very cute looking restaurant. It was called
Are those ice cream sandwiches?
Bro, they were ice cream sandwiches. That slaps. Let me tell you, you pick your cookie. They got like 6 different types of cookies. This is the Baked Bear in San Diego. You pick a different type of cookie. I got like a gooey butter cookie, and she had a snickerdoodle cookie on top. You fill it with ice cream, and then you pick a different cookie for the bottom. It was like $10, bro. Like, I'm not saying don't do anything. I'm saying be smart about the things that you're going to do.
He was just saying that it was fire, but it was also $10 for an ice cream sandwich.
I'm good with that because I didn't spend all my money on Rodeo. And then we went to the iconic spots. We went to Randy's Donuts. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Randy's, I had to go. The donuts only cost, I don't know, $6, whatever. Like, we went to the
spot. Those are old school donuts. They those are good ones. They
were nice. Went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. That was cool too. So it wasn't that I just was like, no, we're not spending any money, period. But we did a lot of things that would conserve a little bit. Just like this. Let's see.
Just like this. So then he goes to another example.
Yes. Boom. Breakfast.
Little snack. You just talked about breakfast.
No, it's a little snack. It's a little snack situation. Just had, you know what I'm saying, like little pieces of cheese and stuff with the sunset. Spent the day in the jacuzzi though. So I utilized the free stuff that was there, that I paid for, the amenities that were like, yo, I have to have a pool, but then you never get in the pool. Yeah, that's not a thing. I was like, let's utilize what we're gonna do, what we've paid for really. And that was one of the bigger things for me. So let's recap just a little bit before we move on. Ways that we've already saved money. In advance, we paid for tickets for the flight. What I personally did, and this is just a free hint, I guess, I used PayPal Pay in 4 because there's no credit check. There's no interest. It was just you pay, they break it into 4 equal payments, and I paid every 2 weeks. I just paid it. It was on auto pay. It was very, very quick. It was very simple. There was no credit check for me. I don't know. We might need to look into to PayPal credit because I've been using PayPal credit for a while. They have an actual credit account. So I have a credit card account with them. That's supposed to be a little bit more secure and all the other stuff. But at the same time, they have Pay in 4. So I was able to just split the payment for the flights for the both of us. I split it into 4 different things and I paid like $80 per 2 weeks and I got that paid off. Yeah. So before I got there, it was paid off. No problem. Second thing that Roman and I both did with the flight situation, what was that, my guy?
That was through Southwest. They had some 50-year anniversary. So that one day they were just doing, say, 50% off on a lot of their flights. Between a certain time frame. I think it was like between now and September or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But or October, whatever. But it was set there, and basically whatever flight you got was 50% off. So we basically booked all of our flights right then and there just because they were 50% off. And we were like, well, booking them early, you're going to save money on by doing that. And then the 50% off obviously is you saving half off on your airfare.
So we not only saved money by getting 50% off by switching to Geico, just kidding. By getting 50% off of the flight with Southwest, But then I did a pay in four. So I split the 50% off into four equal payments. So I had more money on hand at all given points in time. Then we got there and I was like, okay, cool. We're going to do the Airbnb. Again, something that we paid for in advance. So it's not like we're getting there and putting, and there was no deposit. So there wasn't like a $200 hold that they put on your credit card. I hate those. Those are whack. But there wasn't a hold. So I didn't have to worry about that. Car rental. I rented a car, but I went through an alternative source. So
Yeah,
I had.
how was your car rental situation? Because that's what I'm dealing with right now.
So, okay, here's the thing. Shop around, and then while you're shopping around, make sure you clear your cookies after the fact. So if you go, and I have 3 or 4 computers, right? So I have PayPal app open on my iPad. I have PayPal online, not PayPal, Priceline. Priceline's app open on my iPad. I have Priceline on my phone logged in, and then I have a computer with Priceline that's not logged in. All 3 of those places can come through with 3 different prices. So as a member, you get different prices. As a member that's been long-term, you get different prices. As somebody that's been online versus the app, you get different things. So shop around first, but be ready to purchase right then because they will switch. They'll fluctuate. So if you come back 2 days later, the prices will change on you. So I use Priceline when getting my car because when I went through like Enterprise directly or Hertz directly or whatever, the prices were astronomical. They were like over $1,000 for the car. I think I spent $416 on my car for 7 days, which, hey, that ain't bad.
So you're saying between Priceline or like Expedia, Priceline is definitely a good place to check
Expedia, you can look at Hotwire. I mean, you can still look on enterprise.com, also Turo. I was looking at Turo because I thought that Turo gives you the option to get a car specifically that you want. And that's actually a perfect segue into this. The
one thing I didn't like about Turo was some effect, like in my situation, like I want to be able to like drop it off in a different state. You really can't do that in Turo.
Yeah, you can.
You're taking someone else's car.
Benefit of Turo is that I was gonna rent a Tesla because do you see these gas prices, my boy? Yeah. $4.99.
Yeah.
What?
But that leads into some other ways to be able to save some money while traveling. So right now I'm in the planning stage. Like we just got our tickets. We're figuring out rental car situation on that because I noticed you used to be able to get a rental car on any website for a week for $200 to $400 most of the time. Now it's like at the lowest cost is around $800 to $1,000. So I was looking at different ways to save money on different options. So one thing I looked at was through your employer. Some employers will give you discounts through using certain services, whether it's for your airfare, your hotel, Disney World, whatever you want to do. My employer does that, so I checked that. Another one is your insurance. Like you said, switching over to Geico could save you whatever. Sometimes your insurance companies or other companies will give you points that build up, rewards points, like AT&T will do this, or Verizon will do this, that goes towards travel things like hotel and travel and all that for paying your phone bill or paying your car insurance, things like that. Check those out because you can end up using those points actually for something instead of them sitting up and not doing anything. What was another discount?
T-Mobile does the same thing. T-Mobile has T-Mobile Tuesday
check all that stuff. Check ComEd might whatever utility company you have that pays stuff like that might end up building points that you can use towards that, and then you can double that on top of Priceline or whatever and bundle it in those type of ways. So that's a great way to kind of do it there. At least that was some of the ways I was seeing. I was like, this is some discount codes.
Yeah, and then I use Honey. On my computer, you use Honey and it searches for all the promo codes for you and all the other stuff. So that was my rental car. Then the food situation, you can absolutely save money in terms of getting an Airbnb by cooking your own food. We bought little snacks. I bought jelly and I bought, bread and all the other stuff. We bought fresh fruit. We went to a farmer's market, bought fresh fruit, all of these things. And then we just went and did stuff that wasn't expensive. We went hiking. We went swimming. I didn't go swimming. I just was there. But we just did naturey stuff. We took the scenic route, which did cost a little bit more. But the gas prices that I showed you guys were prices for like card. If you used cash, it was like 10 to 20 cents cheaper. So we brought cash and we just paid cash for it. And then I went to Shell. So I got an additional 10 cents stock. like all those different things. So I was saving money that way too.
Yeah, if you're especially if you're doing a road trip, like a couple of my trips involve like some of the rental cars going to different states with it. If you not do not already have an account with almost every gas person, you probably should. And kind of build up points with them. I know even if like me and my girl, we both kind of split them. Like I have a couple, she has a couple of the other ones, and it's wherever we go, we just scan it for the rewards because those build up, and that saves you on gas and everything else. Or when those points build up and you are traveling, now you can really use like that 50% off cent on gas or whatever, or the free slushies. Then you start using those things and you can save money on snacks and travel and gas and all that just by finally cashing in on some more of those rewards points. It's a lot of people do this already, but saving those up and kind of throwing them at vacation is a good kind of way to use those points in a way that you probably wouldn't normally use them. Especially now with everyone kind of are doing a lot more leisure travel than what they were pre kind of pandemic, just because you actually can now. So it's like, okay, everyone wants to get out the house and do something.
Yeah. So those were my tips on how to save money, really.
Yeah.
So we did a lot. Man, there were so many ways that we saved money. And this, I'm not gonna tell that story. Never mind. It was a great trip. I had a great time. One of the restaurants was just very okay. They took like over an hour to even bring us our food and all that. So I was planning on leaving. But the managers came by. They were super nice about it. They really cleared everything up. They ended up taking stuff off of my bill for it. It's not a trick. Like I was genuinely I was genuinely displeased. But
he was trying to save some money on the bill and was like,
you see those things where people be like pulling air and stuff. I'm like, nah, like if you can't afford the restaurant, don't go. But those are definitely some ways I saved a ton of money, because I would have probably doubled that had I not. Oh, also went to a discount. I went to the outlet mall instead of going to the regular mall. I went to Rodeo to look, right? I looked at Rodeo and I was like, you know what?
He almost spent some money. That's what that means. He was like, I'm about to drop 10 grand on Gucci.
I'm not. I went to the outlet mall that was along the scenic route. Okay. The outlet mall was still really nice. They had Michael Kors in there. They had a Gucci store. They had all of the stores that you would have paid more for. Pass. No, thank you. Flew Southwest and took 2 bags, and then everything I bought put into the second bag. Didn't have to worry about the extra baggage fees that you're going to have to worry about with all the other, American, all the other people that don't let you fly free with 2 bags. Yeah, that's why I went with Southwest.
Southwest is great for that. I guess I can kind of even say this, kind of wrap it up on this last kind of note. What I feel like one of the biggest tips for saving money on your travel is plan it.
Yeah.
Just have a plan for it. Like an itinerary of what you're kind of going to do, a budget mindset, and then you start saving up with this in mind. If you're like, okay, my vacation overall is going to cost about this much, start saving up for it. And then you can put $20 a week aside or $50, whatever it's going to take to kind of get to that vacation bucket filled up, then go ahead and get it done. That way, when it does come time to go on there, because there's no real reason, to go on vacation and like you paid for it, but then you don't have enough money to do anything on it, or you spend it all on a credit card, and then you're paying off interest and stuff for the rest of the year to pay off that vacation. That's not really a way to do it. Bad way to do it is to be able to pay it all off in cash. Maybe use the credit card to pay for it and then pay that off, get the points up, and use those bonus points to go to Disney World for free or something like that. Get that as a bonus. Yes. Things like that, but you really want to plan it. Booking everything in advance is cheaper. Everything is cheaper when you book it a month or a few months in advance. So check that out, guys. Let us know what some of your vacation plans are and such like that. Any ways that you've learned to save money on travel, any coupon codes or hidden gems you might have for us out there on the internet world. Please like, share, subscribe. We are now on Apple Podcasts. We thought we were already, but we now officially are on Apple Podcasts. So if you want to check us out there, you can now. Yeah.
Yes. And if you're listening to this, you should probably go watch it because the visuals are fire. Fire. My beautiful face. And one picture? Yeah. I don't want to be on the camera. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. Travel safely, travel well, plan things. I literally got to the point where I looked up all the restaurants that I wanted to eat at. and I sent it to my girlfriend. I was like, yo, look at the restaurants. And we picked our meals like beforehand.
If you cannot afford to go on vacation, I'm gonna just say this real quick. Do not do it if it's gonna put you at a financial strain. I understand your mental health can sometimes be bigger than that to take a break, but a staycation could almost be better than a vacation. In some cases, you need to take a break, stay at home, do it cheaply if you can. If you can't really afford to go out there and just throw money at, actually going out for a trip and airfare and lodging and such. Sorry.
There's also the low fare calendar with Southwest. If you Google the low fare calendar and put in the month that you're trying to travel, it will tell you the cheapest days to travel. Then there's also, it's the low fare calendar, and there's something else with Southwest. They have, it's the cheapest destination.
Yeah,
it's want to get away, and they have the cheapest destination. So leaving from whatever airline is closest to you, you can just say, where is it cheapest for me to fly to? And it'll give you all of the cheapest places. So if you're trying to plan a trip on a budget, just say, hey, I want to go somewhere, I just don't know. Literally, there are trips that are like $18, $35 for one way. And then, yes. So do all those things, guys. We're done. Have fun. Be safe out there. We may be young. We may be broke. We're always investing. Till next time, guys. Peace.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to Young Broke and Investing. We just want to let you know that these are the opinions of the hosts, are not meant to be the basis of any security purchases or investments. We're trying to give a little information out there for everybody, and have fun and be safe.